There's something quietly mesmerizing about a game that doesn't just want to tell you a story, but instead simulate a whole civilization. Not just to offer a quest, but 1,000 unscripted paths through a living world. The Bustling World might just be one of the most ambitious sandbox RPGs we've seen in years. It's ancient China reimagined as a sprawling life sim, strategy game and political playground. All wrapped in painterly visuals and deeply emergent systems. But can a game this wide in scope actually come together in practice? Let's take a closer look. Welcome back to LT Gaming everyone, my name is Tom. On this channel we explore the deeper end of strategy, simulation and immersive indie design. If you enjoy thoughtful previews and honest breakdowns, you're in the right place. Today's focus is the Bustling World, a sandbox RPG from Firewall Games, currently in development for PC. Is aiming to deliver a reactive world set in ancient China, where you're free to forge your own story, whether it's as a farmer, a trader, a governor, or something in between. It's a genre mashup, part city builder, part life sim, part open-ended role-playing, and it's already drawing comparisons to games like Kenshi, Going Medieval, and even RimWorld. If that sounds right up your alley, feel free to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, it helps more than you think. We've got plenty more indie spotlights on the way and strategy deep dives for you. Alright, let's dive into this one. So let's dive into how the Bustling World actually plays, because this isn't your standard open world RPG. You're not the chosen one, you're not here to save the world, you're just part of it. And you live in it, and how you do that is entirely up to you. Do you want to run a quiet little farm in the countryside? There's over 60 crop types to experiment with, from everyday to the exotic. Farming ties into the seasons, soil quality and even the climate. So you're not just clicking in watching numbers go up, it will hopefully feel lived in, real. The same goes for raising animals, each breed will behave differently. And there's even talk of genetic traits and mutations cropping up in livestock, which could be fascinating if this actually pans out. Maybe you're not the pastoral type, maybe you're more of a builder. The city building tools here are professing to be genuinely deep. They look almost overwhelming, but in a good way. You can piece together homes, shops, temples, entire districts from nearly 2,000 structural components. And it's not just going to be aesthetics, your choices will ripple outwards. You will manage resources, infrastructure and even enact local policies to affect how your town runs, how safe it is and how happy your citizens are. So there will hopefully be a real sense of every plank that you place will matter. And all of this will feed into the production chain. Crafting here isn't just going to be about making better swords or a better soup recipe, it's going to be entire industries. You'll set up weaving houses, smelters, herbalist shops, bakeries, hire workers, automate tasks and optimize supply chains. It's almost veering into management sim territory and I love that. It's going to respect the player who wants to think 3 steps ahead and still have room for those who just want to run a single tea shop on the corner of a back street somewhere and live a quiet life. But it is the NPC simulation that might just be the wildest part of this one. Every character in the world, from the noodle seller to your neighbours, will have their own personality, preferences and routines. They're gonna marry, feud, move cities and start businesses, and even take revenge based on how you treat them. And the devs are leaning hard into this emergent narrative here. The idea is no two players want to have the same world, not because of procedural generation, but because of the simulated lives unfolding about them in real time. And the world is going to be big, vast actually. From arid northern cities to lush southern towns, you're going to be free to wander. There will be turn-based combat for those who want it, diplomacy who'd rather talk their way out of things, and hundreds of side activities. Fishing contests, cooking duels, martial arts tournaments. It seems like a bit of a cultural sandbox to be honest. In short, the Bustling World isn't aiming to be the game you beat, it's more of a place where you're going to live in it. And whether that place becomes a thriving trade hub, a hermit's hut in the woods, or a city torn apart by politics and war will be up to you. Now let's talk a little bit about the world you're going to be inhabiting, because the Bustling World isn't just going to be a game of systems, it's going to be a place of beauty and atmosphere. Visually, it's embracing a hand-painted aesthetic that draws inspiration from classical Chinese art. The environments are going to be rich with detail, from the intricate architecture of bustling cities to the serene landscapes of the countryside. The scenes will hopefully feel like a living painting, inviting you to pause and take in the surroundings. Character design is looking to be equally meticulous. NPCs will don traditional attire reflective of the era, and their animations, which will be enhanced by motion capture, look to bring a sense of realism to the daily routines. On the audio front, the game will employ a soundtrack that complements its visual style. Traditional instruments will underscore the ambient sounds of the world, hopefully creating an immersive soundscape. The developers have incorporated real-life voice acting to add depth to the character interactions and enhance this narrative experience. So it's very evident to me the Bustling World is aiming to be more than just a sandbox. It's striving to be a fully realised world that engages the senses and invites players to lose themselves in its depth and detail. Now this next part is where things start to feel properly ambitious and a little bit different to the norm. Bustling World isn't just going to be about what you do, it's going to be about how the world does things in response. The game's AI simulation is designed to be dynamic and reactive, so each NPC will have their own needs, routines and ambitions. They are not static quest givers or ambient background noise, they are participants. They age, they travel, they get married, open shops, fall out with their neighbours and hold grudges. One of the devlogs even mentions that NPCs can seek revenge if wronged. So this is a sort of emergent narrative that's easy to pitch, but I think is incredibly tricky to pull off well. If it works, it could be the heart of the whole experience. So this will mean your actions, whether you can build a fort, raise taxes, or charm your local blacksmith, will echo outward. Your reputation will spread, word will travel, and entire communities might react differently to your presence over time. And this is because NPCs interact with one another, not just you. So they can start to get their own little social ecosystems. Towns that evolve without your input, power struggles that you stumble into the middle of, or quiet little friendships that are built across the seasons. It's a bit like Dwarf Fortress in that sense. Everything is simulated, not scripted, and it makes the world feel less like it's on a stage, and more like you're in a story engine that you're nudging and reacting to. That said, this is also one of the riskiest parts of the game. These are the kind of systems that are notoriously fragile. AI that feels organic on paper can just as easily turn into chaos, or worse, bland repetition. But with the ambition here, it is genuinely exciting. A quick pause here while we take in some scenery. If you are enjoying this breakdown so far, feel free to drop a like on the video or subscribe if you feel we've earned it. We do a lot of thoughtful previews here at the channel, especially for indie games that we feel deserve a closer look and a bit more publicity. Okay, back to it. So let's be honest, all of this sounds incredible on paper, but where is the game actually at and how close is it to delivering on all of this promise? The Bustling World is still deep in development, and there is no solid release date yet, but the devs, Firewall Games, have been fairly active with their updates. Regular devlogs, community posts, and feature trailers have been trickling out over the past year, giving us a glimpse of how this is all coming together. Recent updates have shown everything from AI tweaks and UI overhauls, to new mini-games like banquets, part-time jobs, and even martial arts duels. It's clear they're not trying to build a sandbox, they're trying to fill it with meaningful, culturally rich activity. That said, there is a fair bit of caution on my part, and within the community too. The scope here is massive, and whenever a small team shoots for the stars like this, it naturally raises a few eyebrows, and rightly so. Will all of these systems work together smoothly? Will the AI be as reactive as promised? Can the world sustain player interest for dozens of hours without falling into this repetitious nature? And those are very fair questions. We see many games promise dynamic worlds over the years, only to struggle with bugs, pacing issues, or clashing systems once it's all live. The challenge here isn't the ambition, it is the cohesion. But honestly, that tension, the mix of high ambition and real risk, is what makes this kind of project very compelling to follow. The community right now seems cautiously optimistic. There's a lot of passion behind the project, and a growing group of players who love the idea of this historically rich, deeply mechanical life sim that's daring to do something different. So where does all this leave us? The Bustling World is promising to be bold, it's sprawling, and it's aiming for something very few games even attempt these days. Not just to simulate a role, but an entire ecosystem of life, politics, routine, and reaction. But let's just say it's still early. The promise is massive, but the risk equally so. If it all comes together, if the AI holds up, the world breathes, and the systems click, this could be one of the most quietly revolutionary RPG sims we've seen in years. But what do you think? Are you drawn to this kind of emergent, systems-driven experience, or do you worry the scope might end up swallowing all the detail? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really love to hear what kind of stories you want to tell in a game like this. And of course, if you found this useful, like the video and a subscription if you think we've earned it. Cheers for sticking around guys, and I'll see you on the next one.